Hello and welcome to the SCLD Podcast. My name is Erin Dodge. Today I am here with Mary Ellen Brax, and we're going to talk about something that we have at the library that maybe some folks don't know about. And it's for our youngest library customers. And what are we talking about today?
We're talking about getting ready for kindergarten.
Yes.
And so just what parents can do at home to help get their children ready.
And we have pages on our website.
Yes.
And you can find that at scld.org. And they talk about some different ways to play.
Right.
And some different books to read. And even we have some digital resources, some online things that you can do with the youngest kiddos. And what age range are we talking about? How early can you start with getting ready for kindergarten?
Basically, you can start from birth. I mean,
Oh, wow.
Just something to remember is that a parent is a child's first and most important teacher. And so really, anything that you do with your children is really getting them ready for kindergarten.
Okay.
You want to be building the language skills, so talking to your child on a regular basis and asking some open-ended questions, pointing out lots of things so they're learning new words.
And so are there certain sort of skill sets that, I mean, I as a parent, a new parent, you might be intimidated, like, well, I'm not a teacher. I don't know how to do this. Like, what are some ways to get people feeling comfortable with this concept of being a first teacher?
I think basically is kind of remember that the way a child learns is by play. So by playing with your child, they're going to be learning. They're going to be taking information in. So when they get up to kindergarten, there's something called a WAKIDS assessment. And it's basically just an assessment to see where your child is with some basic skills so that the kindergarten teacher knows how to plan their year, because kids are coming in on all different levels.
Sure.
And so it's just nice to know for the teacher that she's not starting either way down low or way up high, just seeing where the kids are, and then she can individualize where kiddos may be.
And what are some examples of some different sort of play, different games or activities that parents can do?
Well, any game where you take turns is great for social emotional skills, because, you know, a child has to wait.
Developing that patience and understanding of sharing. Yeah.
And even winning and losing is social emotional.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
I don't think I ever liked losing when I was a kid.
So those types of things. Just, you know, having to wait a turn is really hard for some kiddos to do.
For sure.
So all of that comes into play when you get up into kindergarten, where you have to wait in line. So you may have to, you know, wait for a little bit. So all of those things. And so some of the things that they are assessing your child on is the social emotional.
Okay.
And so a lot of that has to do with interacting with peers, interacting with other adults. The other thing is physical. So can your child walk in a straight line, or can they move fast? Can they move slow? It's gross motor skills and fine motor skills when you talk about physical. So, you know, can they hold a crayon or a pencil? Yes, and so that is something, you know, too, that they're looking at. Then you get into language and literacy.
Okay.
And then math, and then...
And math is not as scary as it might sound.
Right. And so it's some basic things. Do they know their numbers? Do they know that the number 1 is the same as one red apple that they see on the table? It's that 1-to-1 correspondence.
Okay.
That's where most kiddos come in a little bit low when they're assessed.
Okay.
But you have to remember when you're looking at these things that there's a developmental spectrum from which this happens. So some of these all don't come at once.
Right.
So, you know, can they count from 1 to 10 or 1 to 5? Do they know what 5 is? And so that's usually the magic number. And then the last thing is cognitive abilities. And so that's like problem solving. So if they're presented with a problem and they can't make their buildings stay up, you know, do they get really frustrated, which then falls into social emotional?
Sure.
But then do they, are they able to figure out a different way and keep trying without getting too frustrated?
So if you have, say, a set of blocks of at home, things like creating a building, that how high can you make it, or can you make it stand, or can you make it all one color, or can you make a different, can you tell the circles from the squares and all of that? Can you separate them? That's, you're building skills for kindergarten.
Right, and as you're talking with them when they're playing with the blocks, you're also building language skills.
Okay.
So blocks are great. If you're ever looking for a great baby gift, baby shower gift, blocks and books, I always say.
Blocks and books.
Blocks and books.
The bees.
But the blocks really do encompass not only kind of the math and the science, but they also have a lot to do with language and building language ability, because you're talking about the blocks. You're pointing out the different types of blocks, the different shapes, the different colors. And so it really does do a lot of things.
Yeah, and you mentioned open-ended questions. So when you're playing with blocks, what's an example of like a question that you could ask that would kind of get your child talking about what they're doing?
Well, what else could you make with these blocks? Or how could you make that stay up a little bit longer? What could you do to strengthen that building?
Okay.
And so things like that, where they're giving you more than a 1 or 2 word answer.
Not just
and
yes,
they're having
no, or not just the number. I mean,
right.
Okay. Wow. All right. And all of that is getting a young child from the day they're born till they get into ready to get into kindergarten.
Right. So a lot of these things, a lot of people do intuitively, and that once they realize it's not as scary as it seems.
Okay.
You know, there's certain things like for fine motor skills, can they tie their shoes, can they zip up their coat, that type of thing. But you know, that fine motor skill takes a little while to develop, so that practicing with small things, small items, picking up small items is really good for them. But you just want to make sure those small items aren't so small that they're a choking hazard for your little guys. But but yes, so there's all sorts of things that you just don't realize how much it builds in. I can remember my kids counting the stairs as we went up.
Oh, yeah.
And that was something that was great. They're working on moving, they're working on counting and keeping it in order. And then if one of them got ahead, you know, then that social emotional, you know, kicks in. Like,
and you could even play a game, who can find the 5th stair? You know, stair number 5 or
definitely. So.
And then what was I thinking? Oh, on our website we were talking about how we have a lot of web pages, a lot of ideas. There's some videos. There's a lot of we have like PDFs of I think, if I remember correctly, of different activities.
Right. So we came up with different activities for each of the areas that the kids are assessed on when they get up into kindergarten to help with those skills. And
that would be really great if you're kind of stuck like, well, we always do this thing. We always play with blocks. What is something else we can do?
Right.
And there'll be some other ideas. Maybe it's cotton balls.
Right.
Or cups of water. I mean,
any art project that you do with your child is great because they're having to make some decisions.
Yes.
And you know, cognitive thinking is making decisions, and so
I remember my son mixing all of the paint colors together and painting, and it's just the painting was a big brown page.
Right.
He learned a lot from that.
Yeah, that's a process. So yes, we had a program once where we had a lot of little boys suddenly mixing the paint, and the moms were a little horrified. And I was like, no, it's okay.
It's fine.
They're experimenting. They're being scientists right now.
Exactly.
So that is another way to look at it.
I understand those parents because you really want to be like, no. The way to get all the colors is you keep them separate so you can see them. Nope.
But then
you gotta let them go
themselves. That green and yellow make blue, and do all those different types of experimenting.
Yellow and blue make green.
Yellow and blue make green.
I was like, wait.
Right. I do know it. It's just the words get mixed
up.
The
right colors in the wrong order.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and let's go ahead and mix some different colors. Like,
Yeah, and let them have fun. And but I know the mess is something in our household. I was always the one who was okay with the mess. My husband not so much. So I did a lot of the art projects when they were really little, and then he liked it when they were older
and they had more skills to keep the area neat.
A little bit neater. So yes,
great. So what a great idea, and what a great way to help parents before the kids get into school.
Right. So it doesn't need to be a big formal, you're sitting down and drilling them. That's not what we mean at all. Reading every night helps with the literacy part of it. Just knowing how to open a book, hold it upside down.
And how the pages go, Everything, the
Yeah.
upside down versus right side.
Right.
Yeah, all of
and
that.
pointing out the words so that they know those words have meaning
Yeah.
on the page. And then the language part of it is just having those conversations. So, and
Yes.
those conversations can be anywhere. They can be outside. They can be
In the grocery store.
in the grocery store. And you can learn so much in the grocery store. You know,
Yeah.
help me pick out 2 orange fruits, or
Sure.
you know, what vegetables should we try tonight?
Yeah.
And just having them have the opportunity to give you some answers.
That's amazing. So if you say you're like, well, we're going to make potatoes tonight, and we need 1 potato per person.
Yep.
How many potatoes are we going to have?
Exactly.
And you have them, pick out the potatoes for you.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yep.
And they're learning.
And they're learning too.
Yeah.
So yes.
Wonderful. And I know we also have on our YouTube channel, we have an early learning tips
Yes.
videos, and these cover some of the same kind of ideas and concepts of different activities you can do, games you can play, songs you can sing. And so that is on our YouTube channel, which you can find if you go to scld.org/YouTube. We just have that link goes directly to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
So, and our librarians, our early learning librarians, have lots of tips there.
Correct. Yeah, it's wonderful, really. It's
It
just,
is.
you know, if you're looking for a different activity to do with your children, that would be a great thing to go and check out.
Yeah.
See
So
what they
getting
do.
ready for kindergarten with the library and with Mary Ellen's team.
Yeah.
Wonderful work.
Yes. Well, thank you. And it's a lot of fun. It doesn't need to be onerous or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, just
Sometimes
every
you-
fun activity has the potential to be a learning opportunity.
And you don't really need to overthink a lot of them. You just
everyday
kinda-
learning opportunities is what it is.
Wonderful. Well, I hope you guys check it out. And if you have a child that is a baby to a preschooler getting ready for kindergarten, you can check out this website. Our webpage is about getting ready for kindergarten on our website at scld.org. And thank you, Mary Ellen, and we will see you guys next time.